Frosty Margarita in front as they come down for the finish. And Frosty Margarita wins in hand as the 3-2 favorite. Herodotus Jr. gets his third win.
Welcome to Tournament Talk. As you can see, I'm not Bobby Shoemaker, and that is not Andrew the Kid Calvano. I'm Dr. Anthony Trezza, and with me tonight is Barbara Bowley. Barbara, welcome to the show tonight.
It's great to be here, and I want to say congratulations to the entire TTE team. All of us have been doing very nicely on the tournament circuit, and we're here to talk about the tournament's key tournament races for this Saturday, April 23rd. We are launching a new approach to help you win tournaments. We're going to be talking about different kinds of picks based on where you might be in a contest. We're going to look at key races for key contests, and we're going to be focusing on a new concept where we give you a kind of solid play, more of a value play, and then kind of a longer odds play. We're calling them the blue chip, value, and the high yield, just as you would use them in the stock market. So we're going to be talking about our picks as stocks today. And you want to start it off, Anthony, and get us going with the first race we're going to be talking about for key contests. Could you tell us, though, what contests we're looking at and why we're focusing not on necessarily on the top stakes races of the week that you'll hear from a lot of different people, but the key races we think you'll need to analyze for contest play?
Yeah, before we get into the races, I would just like to say that Bobby was unable to do the tournament talk tonight because of an illness, and we hope he gets better. And we're wishing him a speedy recovery. And you'll probably see him next week again on Tournament Talk. And so before we go to our races, I just want to acknowledge that Bobby's been really on fire in his tournament picks, and doing very well on various sites. So, Bobby, get better, and we'll see you next week.
And we'll see Andrew as well. We'll
Yeah.
see Andrew as well. He's tearing it up in the NYRA circuit, and if you're not paying attention to his picks, you're missing out on quite a lot. So,
what we did tonight was, since we had limited time to figure out what races to go over, I decided to choose 6 races to go over, and we'll go over them very quickly. But the 6 races that we chose may not be the most exciting, as far as a horse fan would be looking at, but we were looking at it more which races would overlap into certain contests. And I looked at various sites that were holding some of their bigger tournaments, and we decided to go with certain races, even though they weren't stakes races, just to give you maybe a leg up, so to speak, on the competition. So we're going to be doing everything from maiden 6,000 claimers to a couple of nice stakes races over at Aqueduct as well. We'll be covering Gulfstream Race 8, Gulfstream Race 9, Aqueduct Race 7 and 8, and Keeneland 7 and Keeneland 10. So we'll start it off with Gulfstream Race 8, Barbara. It is a 4-year-old and up claiming race, 6.5K the purse. It's on the dirt. It is race number 8 this Saturday, April 3rd. How do you see this race?
April 23rd.
What did I say, August?
You said April 3rd.
Hey, that was my birthday. April 23rd, this Saturday.
Happy birthday, 20 days later.
Thank you. Appreciate it. How do you see this race shaping up? Race 8, Gulfstream, this Saturday.
Well, the championship meet at Gulfstream has certainly ended, and we're down to horses coming in from Gulfstream Park West, and 62.5 claimers are going to be an issue in terms of selection because they have got issues themselves. They're not consistent or they've got some physical problems. Having said that, I'm looking at the 1 as my blue chip play. That's Duncan Bend, and I looked at this race carefully, and typical of a 62.5 claim where you do see a lot of inconsistency. He has been claimed by some strong connections, however, and his figures just look to be the most consistent and consistently strong in this group. If you're looking for something, and I looked at the 5, 6, and 7, the 5 is a huge class dropper, but I think his odds are awful at 3-1. I don't know what you thought. His figures don't even come close for about a year now to match up with this group. The 6, a 9-year-old, he's had a steady campaign, and that's a lot of running for a 9-year-old. And I think again a price of 2-1 is awful. I wouldn't take it in the contest. The 4 was my bomb. I didn't find a really great value play here, but I did find a bomb. He'd have to run back to his fall form to figure, but he's coming off of freshening, could surprise, and you're getting some really good odds on that horse. But my blue chip play is the number 1, Duncan Bend.
Yeah, that's a good evaluation. I also looked at the 1 as well, Duncan Bend. It actually, that horse makes sense in every which way. You have pretty good connections there with Navarro and jockey. Hitting at around 44%, the trainer jockey combination. You got the you got the rail, and it's been working out pretty good over there at Gulfstream the last couple of races. And I looked at that, and I think that horse is going to get bet down a little bit.
I do too.
Come race time. So seeing that this is going to be a race that's going to start off tournaments, I want to get a few bucks in the bank, and if I miss on a 6-5 shot, I'm okay with that. So I was leaning towards the 5 horse. It's Not Me, the huge drop down horse. Horses looked absolutely terrible over the last couple of races, but it's a big drop down horse. It's got the speed, and if you look a couple of races back, this horse has been thrown to the wolves. I mean, he's raced against XY Jet a couple of times.
Awful.
And ready for ride. He doesn't belong in those races. He showed a little speed, and then obviously, just conked out. So I'm hoping that he can get out to the lead and and just not look back. So I'm going with the 5, hoping that it drifts up to and maybe around maybe we can get a 3 or 4-1 and start the contest play off pretty powerful there. That's where I'm leaning. We'll go with It's Not Me, something I say all the time.
And if it wins, it's not you. Okay.
It's not me.
It's him.
We're going to move on to Gulfstream Race 9, another wonderful Gulfstream race. This time on the turf, 7.5. This is your favorite thing to do is pick 7.5 furlong claiming 12K races. This is race number 9, and we have it looks like a very heavy morning line favorite in the 9. Lay It Down. How do you see this race playing out?
Well, first I want to note that a lot of these horses are here on the cutback, and they are not 7.5 furlong specialists, and that's a really tricky distance. In turf races, I look for horses at this distance who've got some late kick. It's pretty hard to find. And I just don't know how the 9 doesn't take this race. I really don't. I looked at this very carefully. It's a horrible, price. You're not going to get anything on this. But I looked at the 5, Helper Rye, possibly. But they're putting an 8-year-old on the turf. Hasn't been on the turf for a year. Maybe he'll take to it again. But he's kind of a plotter, and I don't think that's going to work here. My bomb was I'm Wide Awake, the 6, the drop-in class. He does have low percentage connections, that's a concern. But you've got to forgive something here with this group, unless if you're not gonna take the 9, in my opinion. I thought the 8 could make a bid, but looks like he wants more distance. The 4, I didn't like the work tab on at all. I don't think this horse is ready to go 7.5 furlongs, which is a demanding distance cardiovascularly, and I can't get past the 9 here. And I don't love short-priced horses in contests.
Absolutely, and this is going to shape up to be one of those races too that early on in the contest. It depends on how you want to approach it. You want to approach it very aggressively. I agree with you. I think the 6 horse is the horse to look at as far as if you want to take a swing. That's a horse that I actually noted might have a little kick at the end and may get you some points. Either it just finish sometimes in place. If you get a place price, you could actually beat the win place price of the 9. I absolutely agree with you. I think the 9 horse Lay It Down should be sitting off the pace just a little bit on the outside, and is going to be if you want to call it a speed duel early on, the horse will be in perfect shape to win this race. I looked at the 4 a little bit, the Minecraft, the one that you didn't like the works on, and the 7.5. If there is a speed duel and the 9 can't get up there, this horse might be sitting right around mid-pack, and who knows? This might be a horse that may drift up to 6, 7, 8 to 1. I'm going to keep an eye on the odds on the 4. If you go back to a couple of races ago, he's not in good form, but you have to really dig in some of these races. He hasn't run on a firm surface in a long time. He's been running on good sloppy. And now he's going to get the firm. He's going to get it. Hopefully, if it's good weather, which it's supposed to be, he might get the firm that he needs, and maybe he gets that kick at the end. So that I'm going to be leaning towards the 4. I'm going to take Minecraft because I won't go with a 9 to actually 7 to 5. He'll probably be 1 to 2 by the time.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to play that in the contest unless it's the last race.
That's like a bond price here. That's like, talk about your blue chip play. That's really
that's
a treasury
a blue chip
bond. You get nothing for that. You get CD price.
Exactly. There's no excuse for him losing this race, and if if it does, and you lose out, you lose out. But I'm choosing the 4 in this race, and we'll be watching the odds very closely as it gets closer to post time. We're going to swing on over to Aqueduct race number 7, and so first stakes race we're going to be doing tonight. This is a pretty darn good one. This is the Woodhaven, and it's for 3-year-olds. How do you see this race?
It's very competitive.
It's a good-looking race.
Yeah. I gravitated after looking at a lot of horses, and I can make a case for about 5 horses in this race. I went to the 2, Highland Sky. I think that his kind of steady, grinding style could serve him well at a mile and a 16th. He has the class. He's coming off a layoff, and he seems to handle a variety of tracks. So the move over to Aqueduct, I don't think, is a concern. He would be a blue chip play for me. A value would be the 6 or the 8. I looked at the 8, Rappel. He's got some good turf works in him, and although his jock is not the best on turf, he seems to be able to handle this distance, and I thought he was an interesting option. And also the 6, if you really want to bomb, moving up in class, but that's the odds there are really juicy. 3, 4, 7 I thought were also players, and the 3 Dixie Runner. Chad Brown is excellent with first-time turfers. If I were advising anybody right now in terms of taking that horse, I would do a physicality evaluation of this horse and make sure that he's got a nice, strong front end to be able to handle the distance on the turf. Turfers always, as we talk about in physicality handicapping, pull. And if you don't have anything else to go on, Obviously he's got some class. They had high hopes for him as a Triple Crown nominee, but they've diverted him off to the turf and at a distance. The 4-2 Discreet could jump up. It's got a nice work tab. Carmouche is not the best jockey on the turf either, but he's got first-time Lasix. I thought it was an interesting option as well. But I think this race, this is a race where I would look closely at the physicality of the horses. But I if you're going for the most solid play, I'm on the 2.
Yeah, you went through every horse but the one that I like. So that's the actual beauty of you and I putting our heads together and handicapping. We've done that several times, and boy, we're all over the place. We very rarely connect on one horse that we like, and when we do, it wins.
Yeah.
But before I give you my horse that I like, which is a real big long shot, I do agree with a couple of points you made on this race. If I was looking for a good mid horse, the 6 is an interesting play. I'm not really a fan of Cornelia Velasquez. I think that takes away from me a little bit, and I do agree that I would be looking closely at the number 3 Dixie Runner with Irad Ortiz. The horse has never run on the turf before, but that doesn't bother me too much with a 3-year-old. A horse that has good quality stats that Dixie Runner has. I'd be looking at that too in the post parade. But the horse I landed on, which is unusual for me because I really don't usually pick 20-1 morning line, is the 1 Inequality.
Really?
Yeah. You're probably not even on your radar.
No.
Horse Breaks is the Horse Breaks. It's maiden at Aqueduct on the dirt, and then they think so much of this horse they throw it in the G3, the Jerome handicap, which is totally out of his league, but finishes 3rd, a respectable 3rd, with Alvarado on him, and then they get really excited and throw this horse in the Risen Star, and it was respectable. I didn't think anything was, he was 43-1. They didn't expect anything. Now he's coming back on the grass, which he had pretty good success twice early on in his career. They're throwing the blinkers on. The problem with this horse is a couple of times this horse has not gotten out to a good start. He's broke badly a few times, and so they're throwing the blinkers on. I think he's going to be forwardly placed, a little bit more forwardly placed. Won't be for the lead, but he'll be in the mid-pack. And if the blinkers work, he's got some class, and he may shock you. He's 20-1. We'll see. He's got Aaron Greider on him. We'll see what he does. That's my bomb.
Aaron Greider, Dubai Cup winner, Dubai World Cup winner, and but hasn't quite kept up to that level.
I'm reaching.
You're reaching.
But that's what you do at a 20-1.
Well, yeah, sure, of course. I mean, you have to forgive something. You have to overlook something. I happen to like horses with experience on the turf in distance races on the turf because there really is a mindset they need to learn about how to position themselves, how to finish. They need to be rated well. I'm not usually a fan of horses who haven't run on the turf before in distance races as young horses. I like those with a little experience. I think that they have an advantage. But that's just an observation about this race.
It's going to be a good race, though. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Competitive.
We're going to move over to Aqueduct Race 8. This is really, really good New York bred New York Stallion Stakes race. When I handicapped this race, I was like, wow, this one could win, that one could win. Right now, the morning line favorite is it looks like it's the 8 Baymix Bank. And what do you think about this particular race shaping up?
Well, not to disparage anyone of my gender, but if there's anything that's less reliable, it's a filly who's who's a 3-year-old. People get scared by turf races sometimes when they handicap them. They get scared by maiden races. None of those disarm me in any way. But when I have to deal with 3-year-old fillies, I never know what's going to happen. Even the classiest 3-year-old filly is in my estimation, at the mercy of some changes going on inside of her and hormonal issues, and not figuring out whether she wants to run or what to do. It's like it's an interesting time, having been an assistant trainer. It's an interesting time in the lifespan of a filly this age, and I think it shows up in their consistency in their racing. By the time they get to 4 or 5, they've decided if they want to be a race mare or not. But this point, sometimes it's just crazy. I actually thought the best option here was the most consistent horse, and I look for consistency in 3-year-old fillies because it's very hard to find, and that was the 3, Frosty Margarita. I liked her consistent work tab, and I know Rudy Rod can get them ready off a moderate layoff. She's been the most consistent performer, and she's shown that she's game. So she's interested in running, and I really like to see that in a 3-year-old filly. My value play was the 5. She's been beaten by weaker, but with consistent improvement, and she's showing consistent improvement. She could jump up. And then my bomb is the 4. Could be on the board if she improves as well. But I found this race to be a little hard to predict.
Well, just as I said before, when we land on the right horse together, the horse wins. So you can go to the bank with Frosty Margarita. I'm on the 3 all the way. I see this race shaping up a little differently than Timeform's predicting. The 8 going to the lead. I see the horse going to lead, but I also see a lot of other horses trying for that lead. And I think Erad is going to keep this horse right where he needs to keep Frosty Margarita. The horse is in shape, and I've watched this horse run over and over again, and this horse is a gutty horse, knows where the wire is. I love the horse. It's going to be one of my best plays of the weekend, and since now you've picked it, it becomes one of my key plays. So okay. I'm not even going to dig into anything else. I think this horse will be ready to win this race. The number 3, Frosty Margarita.
I'm with you on that.
We're going to switch on over to Keeneland Park, and we are going to do the race number 7, which is an allowance race on the grass. It's a 5.5 turf race, 4-year-olds and up, and this is probably was one of my most difficult, challenging races to figure out. There's a morning line favorite, Whiskey Bravo, the number 5. He's 5-2, followed by Ray's Warrior, number 6 at 3-1. How do you see this race shaping up? You're pretty good on these sprint turf races, right?
They don't intimidate me in any way. You just want speed, and an aggressive rider. This is one race on the turf where I don't even care if the horse has had previous experience on the grass. I just want the fastest horse who's going to get to the lead and take it. That's how they're won. I like the 6, actually, and I know that the horse hasn't had the experience on the turf, but I would say do your physicality handicapping. Make sure this horse looks like a little tank, and I think it'll go for the lead, and with got a low percentage rider on him, but turf sprints are won on the front end, and this horse has got the front end speed. If you look at the history of the horse, so I'm on 6, and my value play was number 7, going up in class, but can handle a turf sprint, and the bomb would be or the high yield would be the 11, who's got a sharp workout. Paco Lopez will give him an aggressive ride. Could settle, pretty well. Again, though, I think the 6, Rap Warrior, is it?
Which one?
The 6 is my blue chip play.
Oh, Ray's Warrior. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. My only question is, can he run on the grass? But I've seen this happen over and over again. They obviously think this horse has enough speed to grab the lead and not look back. I don't have a problem with the 6 at all. It really is going to depend. This is going to be a race that's somewhere in the middle or toward the end of the contest, and depending on your play, if you want to protect a lead and you want to go with a horse that's 3-1, 2-1, here's your horse. This horse should fare very well. One of the horses that I'm looking at, as far as a huge value play, is the number 3. It's probably not even on your radar.
Why do you always say that?
Because you didn't mention there's 8 horses. You mentioned about 5 of them.
Yeah,
and
not on my radar.
My long shots don't make sense, but
they make sense to you. That's all that matters.
Sylvan Park with Sophie Doyle. I told you tonight I like Sophie Doyle. She's aggressive. She's going to give you a ride. But really, this horse has been put way over its head the last couple of races and comes back to reality. I think the horse might round into shape. He's had some pretty good workouts, and I think this horse can handle 5 furlongs on the turf. That's really what this horse is made out to be. I'm just hoping the horse is in shape, and I hope he's there for a price. So if I need a bomb, this is going to be my bomb. But I'm with you on the 6 horse. I think it's makes sense, and I hope Ray's Warrior grabs the lead, doesn't look back, and wins. If I need that horse, that's where I'm going to go. If I need a bomb, I'm going with the 3. We're going to move on over to the probably one of the last races in a couple of the major contest plays. This is race number 10 at Keeneland, and it is a maiden claiming 20,000, 7 furlongs on the dirt, and it's for 3-year-olds and up.
Fillies, 3-year-old fillies.
I say
my
colts?
favorites thrown in there. I would do a lot of physicality in this race to see who looks calm, who looks poised. These are not superior athletes, these girls, and you've got a couple here who are just career maidens. I have like 3 that I think could do it. Their form is so inconsistent. It's just hard to figure out exactly what's going to happen. This is one of those points in the contest where you're crossing your fingers, in my opinion. I'll see what you have to say, but I looked at the 7. City Beauty.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I thought she was somewhat interesting. I really didn't see, too much. Like with any of them, I didn't see too much. But I thought she had some interesting possibilities in terms of her speed figs, and the 3 was the only one that I thought had the best chance, but that's a weak favorite. I really just don't like the price. I can't take the price on the 3. My bomb was Power Girl, the 9. She's gone a mile at a higher level and has worked fairly well recently, and I think that's an opportunity for, in a chaotic race to try to grab price. I thought the 2 was the best value play. Put in a decent effort her first time out, and could jump up from there. She's got the most upside since she's the least tried, and actually put in a fairly okay first time effort.
You mentioned the 2, so I'll land on that 2. The 2 is my value play as well. So if I need a price at the end, I think you'll be getting anywhere between 10 and 12 to 1 at least minimum. And seeing that the horse only ran 1 race, changed trainers, has Graham on her, I should say. There's some upside potential. Didn't run a terrible race. It was just like one of those races where she went out and got her feet wet, and now they're going to throw it on the horse on dirt and see what she can do. She has some decent workouts, so I've seen horses turn it around, and pop the second time out.
Yeah, I would look for her to be poised. You know, the second time out for horses can sometimes be a much more nerve-wracking experience than their first start, because the second time they realize what they're in for. And with fillies, you know, if you see a filly that's really leaning on her pony and biting the lead pony and has her head all over the place, you know, instead of being composed, second time out, I'd be a little more concerned. I'd want them to have a little bit of confidence in their second time starting. So I'd look for that physically in this horse if you're going to play her. But yeah, I think, you know, she's got the most upside. She's got, you don't know. You just don't know with her.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those races that could determine the contest. And if you need 20, 30 points to get close or win, this might be the horse that you want to land on. It might go unnoticed. You know, there's a lot upside potential there. The horse I landed on was a 3. If I needed just to close things out, you know, it's going to be a short price, probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 to 1. But if you're in the lead and you're looking to block, or you're looking to grab a few points in place price, I think this horse will be there at the end. It's shown some speed early on, and who knows what it can do on the dirt. I think you're right. The 7 will go out for the lead, and then you'll have a couple of horses sitting right off the lead. This will be one of them, and hopefully this horse can translate over to the dirt. And if it does, you can close the contest out. Not an easy race to handicap, but a good race, a good challenge for the mind. So, you know, there you have it. We did our 6 races, filling in for Bobby and Andrew. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully we picked some winners out there. I know we landed on a few favorites, a few bombs, and hopefully we were able to help our viewers. Barbara, would you like to say a few things before we leave?
Just keep your eye out for some very interesting developments on the tournamentedge.net. We're moving along and coming up with some new offerings and new services. And within the next week or two, things will look very interesting for all of you with some new developments on the website. So we appreciate all of your loyalty. We have a overwhelmingly unexpectedly large fan base here, and it's just been so gratifying to see how many people are interested in getting educated and doing well in contest play, and that's what we're here as a team to do, and we'll continue to do that for you.
Yeah, we are proud to put out a pretty good product, and if there's something that you guys want to see in the future, feel free to send us an email to tournamentedge at gmail. Tournamentedge
contact at the tournamentedge.net.
Thank you, Barbara.
It's on the website. You can find us, I know you're there all the time.
Or you can find us on Twitter. I am UR2020, and Barbara, you're Portia Sophia.
I am Portia Sophia.
Okay, we'll have that. And thank you very much for joining us. Bobby, feel better. We'll see you guys another time. Take care. Thanks for joining us on Tournament Talk.
Thanks for joining us.